make sure that the mayor supports this reorganization structure, because these are people that report to him, again, by charter. And so we just wanted to have some clarification.
That would be good to double check that. I've certainly been assuming that the commissioners have run everything by the mayor, that they're sending it.
We've learned not to make that assumption.
But that would be amazing. That would be,
I mean, the likelihood on this one, based on the fact that it's in the budget, is low. But we just want to get clarity.
Yeah, it used to happen in this building a long time ago.
Less so now.
But I guess it's still possible. Yeah, we certainly want to double check that. But again, if, as
Aileen
said,
Thank you.
this probably is more, these changes are probably more appropriate as a city council, local law type of change. Okay, should I proceed to the police and fire ones?
Any other questions about that one?
Yes.
Now, hold on a second. Before we go into, we don't have to remember, do you have any desire, and again, the method that we operated under last year was, in order for it to move forward, someone would need to propose that it move forward. And then if we got seconded, and then we would vote, then we would move forward. If no one proposed to do anything, there was no action taken. So what we have before us is someone, the Commissioner of Planning has made a request that we make these charter changes. Is anyone willing to take another step, whatever step it is that you're proposing?
I propose we first check to make sure there's no shift in any power, like we just discussed. And then if it's some, I mean, I think we need to discuss it further, but if it's just strictly a change that could be made without making a big deal with public referendum, it's already being done, and I think we need to discuss further on that context. I don't know that it's going to escalate into anything bigger than that. I mean, it does warrant further discussion, but certainly, you know, I don't think we're going to have to block out another 11 meetings for it or anything, so.
I thought we just have to meet next week on this one.
No, I really don't think that.
Anyone want to second that? All in favor? Opposed? Move forward with it in that manner.
Okay. Then there's another page which is attached to the letter from me to May 1. And those have the proposed changes from the police and fire departments. First one is section C, 12-1, changing the last sentence from police commissioner shall be the appointing authority with respect to all sworn uniformed members of the department to the appointing authority with respect to all employees of the department. And this basically reflects the reality that the police department has what they call civilian, non-uniformed employees, office staff and the like.
And how does that currently happen?
Yes.
How does it currently happen? If he's proposing that the commissioner be the appointing authority, how is it happening now for the civilian?
He is the appointing authority. It doesn't say that. I mean, the fact that it says the appointing authority with respect to all sworn uniform members doesn't mean that the police commissioner will be prohibited by silence for not employing civilian employees, but this just clarifies that.
Okay.
And the second, another change by the police department does two things. First, it changes the chief of police shall have such powers and duties as the police commissioner may delegate to the inspectors shall have such powers and duties as the police commissioner may delegate. Okay, this looks like changing one thing to another, but what it's doing, and I spoke to Deputy Commissioner Gardner about this today, there is no chief of police any longer. It's just a police commissioner and then their deputy commissioners. So, again, this is reflecting the realities. There hasn't been a chief of police, I think, in 20 years. It's a police commissioner, so that outmoded language probably should be corrected. Again, whether this referendum issue is probably something worth discussing. The second part of this is the inspector shall have such powers and duties as the police commissioner may delegate. And, you know, after he reflected on this, Deputy Commissioner Gardner maybe thought, well, we may want to rethink that, because if you look at this section of the charter, there's this provision in there about the police commissioner having the power to detail certain senior members of the department to the inspector, and I don't think that's actually happening.
John?
Yeah, sure.
Can I make sure for this? If they're rethinking it, can they bring it back when they thought it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
I'm concerned too, that Jimmy, if this Chief Gardner,
Commissioner for...
I assume he's doing this under the auspices of the commissioner telling him to, right? Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
You would hope.
Because, you know,
Well, here's the clarity on that.
He actually,
I still drive a car here and live here. I don't want to, you know, be pulled over and...
yeah, I didn't even know there was this thing about detailing captains to inspector. I don't even understand what that is. So historically, in my senses, that's just not happening. I don't know what that relates to.
But you're saying, he's saying that on the question of C-12-2, they want to rethink that.
Well, I think they want to correct the reference to chief of police, for sure, but as far as being able for the police commissioner to delegate such powers and duties to these people, details, inspectors, I don't understand that,
Okay.
frankly. So
If you don't understand,
I don't.
we certainly don't.
He doesn't.
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the fire department? If you want to move and second on that?
So no, the C-12
The same one, right? Okay.
C-12 is...
Warm it up for the fire department. Go ahead.
Okay, then, someone had mentioned, I actually noticed that one of these items was voted down.
Yeah.
Which was it?
That's C-11-1.
That was voted down in,
Yeah,
By the
last
public.
year.
but the 11-12 change was not reviewed by the
11-2?
commission before? I'm sorry, 11-2. That was not reviewed by the commission before?
No.
Okay.
Does that not just say almost the same thing as one?
See, last year, the proposed amendment that the fire department made was that anyone who was a deputy fire chief could go back to being a regular on the line so they could get overtime.
Not go back on, that they...
Well, they would just be...
They would be eligible for...
They would be eligible for overtime.
That was
So
it.
basically, yeah, but it's basically, they call it going back on the line. But they would still get their title because they can't find people to fill the jobs because nobody wants to lose their overtime. And that was the one thing that some of us were vehemently opposed to.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, that's probably the best explanation.
Yeah.
We